Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're doing a video on a Tempo Storm Dragon deck. This is pulled from a reasonably high up player on the current ladder. I believe they may have reached Master with this deck, or at least had very high win rates with the deck. If I could remember who it was off the top of my head, I wish I could. But some of these decks I grab, a week or in advance or so, and then make these videos occasionally. So it's very hard to keep track of everyone, and making a list for 20 to 30 decks at a time is a nightmare to really keep good track of. So big shout out to whoever did come up with it, as it's a very solid list. It does a wonderful job, so we're going to get right into this and take a look. So the first match here is against Shadow. I am actually pulling these from the Grand Prix at the moment. I did have some other matches available to use, but the Grand Prix ones just seemed a lot more fitting, considering most people are running pretty straight up meta decks at the moment to do well in the Grand Prix. So no surprise that we're going to come up against some pretty meta, pretty standard meta decks overall, even for reasonably low staged opponents. Starting off though with a very good hand, Whitefrost Dragon and Rose and Draconic Core is great. Zone on turn 1 is probably one of the best turn 1s, but turn 2 is still acceptable for a draw, I guess. Since I didn't really want to play the Whitefrost yet, I may as well hold on to those and use them turn 4 at this point, since Anne Rose won't really be active until turn 5 when I can use the Evo point, so I don't really want to waste her. The Shadow's going for a very strong early game with these effects that are going off, and we're doing fairly well. These Whitefrosts should be good now as 1/3s. They've got pretty decent statted bodies, and their Whitefrost Whisper effects are going to do a wonderful job as spells to kill off any kind of big threats that come out of it. Especially since next turn we're going to have 5 play points, making it possible to use one Whitefrost. So very, very good play. We could go for the Dragon Oracle, and we may consider that with this situation, considering we'll be able to wipe this board. Dragon Oracle sounds like a very good play. Ceres, Eternal Bride. Probably one of the most nightmare-inducing cards to me. I hate having to deal with her. The only little bonus is that this deck actually can handle it okay using the Masamune cards. Masamune, whatever, those cards, really good, do a wonderful job. Raging Dragon, perfect for dealing with her. You can also go for this route and use the Whitefrost Whisper with of course, Omen, which is good too, but you've got a few options, and they're the options that I kind of like to deal with this. Otherwise, Ceres can be a real pain. That 3 damage clash destroys most decent followers. Now, I don't really have a reason to use Anne Rose anymore. Really, it's just going to be looking for good draw that we can get something decent out of. Get some of our Storm or big drops like Poseidon. I did play Raging Dragon, even though I probably should have went for Disdain. That was completely my mistake. I just happened to misclick on the wrong card. Sometimes that occasionally happens. Not that it makes a massive impact on our current state, but it could have potentially saved us a chance later on in the game. But at least we are going to have a decent Poseidon combo next turn if we want it. But for right now, Disdainful Rending actually looks good, getting a draw out of that. And Draconic Core getting us another Evo point is not actually that bad. Usually I'd be a little worried, but since we do have Poseidon and Raging Dragon, with that combo and an Evo point, we can actually gain a couple back, giving us a decent chance at dealing some more damage. The only real problem here is to play these properly, I do have to sacrifice everything. So I don't go for any face damage this turn. But definitely feels like the right move. Especially since I can go for that Evo and the Dragon Oracle. I probably could have spent the Evo on the Poseidon, played it that way, kept my 1/3 up, but I felt pretty comfortable with this play anyway, so that's what we ended up going with. Probably just might have required a little more thinking on my part. And with Ruler of Skies here, we are going to close the game very neatly in a bow. I mean, this is 16 damage on board, plus the Evo, taking us to 18. Really not that easy to survive, no matter who was playing against it. Ending the game in a very, very positive way. Okay, on to the next match against a Bloodcraft.
Shall we cross swords? Time to get started.
Okay, so starting off early with a good 1-drop, always perfect for this deck. Going up against Blood is a little bit more difficult because you really need a solid early game. Getting the turn 2 Servant Disdain though is actually pretty decent considering most Blood cards usually have reasonably low attack power in this case, and dealing with them in the early game isn't too bad either way. So I got a chance to play Dragon Oracle. Probably could have went for Draconic Core, but I think the immediate ramp with our current hand was definitely the right choice. And Draconic Core plus Whitefrost definitely made the right choice to start with there. Steelclad Minotaur is also going to be very nice when that can go off. But our opponent is doing very, very well themselves. Not a perfect hand, but definitely substantial. We don't really have a way to do a decent counter to this. We're only going to be on 6 play points. And Rose is a great draw, but we are just still one short from getting its ping effect off, so that was a little disappointing. But at least we're going to be able to ramp to 8 now. And if we even throw in the Steelclad Minotaur, we can actually just kind of secure this board reasonably well, forcing them to have to use removal. There is the Florus with the Evo. And we can actually take at least 2 of these out now using the Altar and the Whitefrost. So of course hitting the strongest was the right choice to make. Getting a couple of cheap cards to use. Razor is actually really nice. Since I can not have to use the Altar as much, I can just kill the 1/1 with it and pretty much be done with that as far as that goes. Really no issue to take that out. Now going for a Razor Claw into Florus, again with the Evo, healing for 5, but we're really going to snowball for the next turn with a really nice Dragon Ranch and probably a Whitefrost, to be honest. Or actually no, Zoe. Zoe actually is a good idea. Drawing cards, beneficial. Probably a little bit better than going for Whitefrost right now, considering we can actually use Whitefrost with Raging Dragon. Alright, here's the Razory. They're going face most likely, looking to kill me off. So we just need a way to kind of protect ourselves now. We got 10 damage. We can go for an extra 3 with this. If I use Disdainful Rending, this will do the job too. I probably could have went for Raging Dragon though and traded. But at least this way I can secure a nice board and force them to have 7 damage. Their best bet of course would be Dark Feast Bat, and they have one. Don't believe it's enough though at pretty much, 6 damage for 1.
I lost. You're tough.
But not a bad overall game there. Very close. So while it was very close, this deck is reasonably solid. I've had a lot of luck with it. I didn't quite get into the rank A with this first go, but I was very, very close. I had a couple of rough games against Sword right in the beginning. That really screwed up my run, but I did manage to win the last 3 very easily with this deck, which is great. And again, I played this a little bit before that, and it was doing very well on ladder, completing missions for me and stuff like that. So I can definitely recommend this deck as a solid one right now, although I don't know how it will play out in the long run, as it could potentially get knocked out by some other meta decks if they come in a little later, but we don't usually see a big shift much from now, so I expect this deck to still be reasonably solid. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. You'll find the deck list in the description below. Until next time,